So we're going to talk about crypto news. Can we go to 500k though? Let's find out. So hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, like, comment, all kinds of good stuff. Nice to have you. Obviously, most important thing to remember, this is not financial advice, but looking at the market and looking at what news has been published, there's a lot of bullish news. We're going to cover it today for once, because I get criticised a lot for being a bit of a killjoy, so I'm going to be bullish for a change. Haha. Now, first of all, links below into Telegram if you want to jump in, also into the mob in terms of the channel membership, feel free to do so. And obviously I have accredited courses, feel free to check those out if you are new to the space. Learning is freaking key. You will get wrecked if you are following wrong advice or if you don't understand risk management. But we're going to talk about simple stuff today. We're going to talk about the market itself. And my overall thoughts are, let me remove all these irritating advertisements because it's a pain in the ass. I'm very bullish in terms of long term. I've always maintained that. I've always had little inklings of short term bearish periods where I've been accumulating, and I've done very, very well doing that. I've got a list in front of me of like the coins that I've pretty much got and how much I want. I'm getting close to fully completing that game of let's get my bags as full as I bloody can before the rocket ship really does take off. And I still think there is going to be bit of movement, essentially, a bit of low income offers coming in, and just be careful for those. So don't be fully bullish and be like totally negligent with your funds. Always use money you can afford to lose, especially in any investment. Doesn't matter what's going to happen. We've got potential COVID-ness in terms of second waves, potentially, who knows, election wobbles, but for me, long-term bullish on the Bitcoin space. Always have something, yes, something left over just in case we get some low ball offers and you can put some nice little bids in. So overall, when you look at the market and you look at the news and stuff, and if you quickly just go into the news, we'll go over the news in a bit more detail, but when you look at the news in a snap glance, there's a ton of bullish news, like a ton of bullish news right now. Certainly some nice little predictions, which I'm going to talk about the 500k one in a second, so stick around. But ultimately, we've got all kinds of stuff, and the way my overall thoughts are, I feel and I believe that over the next coming months, we might get a trickle from that stock market going into the space, because the innovation of the crypto space right now is pretty good. We've got some huge partnerships building. We've got some huge blockchains getting used on a mass scale in the real world, essentially, which is massively bullish. But that'll obviously create interest, hype, trends. Trends are good in terms of bullish behavior, so just be careful. But as I say, first bit of news, we're going to talk about Fidelity. Fidelity are obviously stock market related, obviously. A new fund will require a minimum investment of $100,000. So that is massively huge. Obviously a fund, it's filing with the Securities Exchange, the SEC, and the new fund will be available soon. It'll be run by Peter Jubber. What a name. So if you don't know what these are, index funds, digital funds, whatever, these are designed to obviously store wealth. You know, if you look at the S&P, you look at obviously the Dow Jones Index, you got ultimate ones with like BlackRock, iShares, etc., Vanguard, right? But Fidelity are also another one. They're looking to do a cryptocurrency one, which is kind of very, very important to understand that word cryptocurrency. It's risky, don't get me wrong. It's unproven, it's relatively new. But as I say, it's very, very bullish, because if that wealth up in the sky, which is what we're looking at in terms of stock market, thinking, fucking hell, guys, yous are big, aren't you? We're tiny. We are literally the ants, right? That's human ant, us. We're tiny. And that trickle of investment money, and even like, as I say, I said a few videos ago, if a little percentage of wealth going into Bitcoin and into the likes of Ethereum, into like other big assets, essentially core value assets, it's key for market movement and interest. Price action creates interest. Doesn't matter what market you're in, you could have the shittest of shit, and I mean this, do very well, and all of a sudden everyone wants a bit. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street. That'll give you an insight of what I mean. But with this, in fact, as bullish behavior can be, it can also be bearish, because obviously people will go against it. But ultimately, I think it's bullish long term, as we've seen with the effect of this, the store of value of Bitcoin. I said a few weeks ago, stock to flow model, not really interested in it. I still don't think that will happen. I don't. I think it will happen in terms of progressive value going up, but I think it's far too quick. That model is too quick in my honest opinion. But we're going to come on to this next bit of prediction now. The Winklevoss twins, who famously lost Facebook and all kinds of stuff, but they made a case on a podcast regarding, now feel free to listen to it, it's a pretty decent listen. The argument is, it's a good safe haven, 500k, not too far away. You know, you got to think long term, and when you look at the scarcity model, you look at what Bitcoin really is and how it works, it's like, it is fascinating. And there's a lot of people that don't rate Bitcoin, and I understand why people don't rate it, but I also try and figure out why they don't rate it, because when you look at the facts and the gravity of those facts in terms of store of value, it's kind of like, it's the elephant in the room. You shouldn't really ignore it in terms of like, this actually does just go up all the time. Who knows where we could be in 5 years' time? So always have a bag of Bitcoin, in my opinion, always. And it's my number one hole. Simple as that. And be very, very careful with where you put your Bitcoin as well, because obviously you put it in the wrong altcoin, Satoshi just vanish. So just be careful. But we're now going to get on to some interesting news. I want to get your opinion on this as well. We know he's not the biggest, he's not the brightest bulb in the box, is he? But we see Craig Wright talk quite openly about DeFi recently. And I'm going to be honest with you, he's got a point. He's got a point. I'm not saying that whole DeFi is a scam, obviously not, no. But what I'm saying is more opportunist scam. We look at ICOs, right? 2017 ICOs, look at 2019 IEOs. Some of them great, some of them fucking dog shit scams, right? It is very, very easy to make an ERC20 token, call it something, create a supply, sell it, website. It's a piece of piss. I'm not even joking. But when you look at the world of DeFi at the minute, there's some great opportunities out there, some great assets with real core elements and protocols that are really good. There's also some fucking shit. And that is what he's alluding to in terms of this. A lot of it really is pretty bad scamming. So if you look at Uniswap, the amount of fake addresses, you look at all the stuff in terms of what they're doing, there's issues, there's bugs, there's all kinds of horrible stuff. And that's where the biggest problems are going to lie. And I'm going to come on to a certain crypto in a minute, which may get your interest in terms of where DeFi could be going in the future. But for me, I would listen to this in a way for research. Please, right, if you are watching any videos and you're looking to try and get involved in some yield farming, or you're looking to get into like a Uniswap gem, please, for the love of fucking God, do your research and make sure you've done a lot of research. And it's different to buying an asset that's been around for a while. These are brand new. These are unproven. These could explode, but the chances of you getting that one that does explode is very, very rare when you consider how many listings are each day. Don't follow the people on Twitter that show you random results, which could be faked. They could be faked there for gaining followers. Just be very, very careful, and I mean that, because if you fall down the rabbit hole of going down into like, you know, there's going to be a coin called Computer Mouse soon. There's going to be, they call them, there's pork, there's pasta, there's spaghetti. I'm not even joking. These are coin names that are coming out on Uniswap and people buying them, hoping to get rich. Please be careful. But Craig Wright does have a point. Most of his views are pretty weird. But in terms of a lot of it, sketchy. A lot of it's good, a lot of it's sketchy. We've got to mix out the sketchy with the good, cool stuff, you know, and find the backers. It's the same as the ICO space. There's so much stuff in the ICO space that came out which was rubbish. Moving on though, more bullish news. As I say though, it is bullish, but it's also bearish. There's a huge problem right now with Grayscale. The problem is demand and the premium. Demand is driving one of the funds up to a staggering 1000% premium on the price, which is scary. Some investors might be unaware that they're paying significantly above the token rates. This screams bullish, but it also screams absolute ignorance and naivety to the buyers, in my opinion. Why, right? Let me just get this fucking right in my head. You like a Mercedes-Benz, right? You go and buy one, you think, fucking, this is the dog's bollocks, right? A week later, you go down another street and you see the exact same model of Mercedes-Benz that you wanted to buy, but you see it £20,000 less. You'd be pissed, wouldn't you? It's like that. I just cannot fathom how a premium can be 1,000% higher. Higher. We're not talking 5%, which is fine. I'd happily, over the counter, if it's a 5% premium, go for it. 1,000? Fuck off. That's the weird thing in the world about this. So it screams absolute demand and bullish. But we've got to look. Where can it go? What asset is it? And how will it change? Even still now, Litecoin, 1,200%. It's freaking astronomical. So be careful. If you are, by the way, a big stock guru and you are trying to buy into Bitcoin, do it the right channels. Don't go over the counter at the minute. No need. Let's be honest. It's really, really simple to buy crypto. Anyways, last bit of news. We'll talk about a bit of DeFi again. And this is what I kind of alluded to before in terms of good projects and bad projects. This is an interesting project. Have you figured it out yet? It is Yearn Finance. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory about it. I'm not going to go full detail into it, but it is currently about $25,000-$30,000 right now. It's gone, it's fucked off to the moon. How does it work? Why is it here? And all kinds of stuff. How does it work? It is basically yield farming, leveraging other tokens that stake. Simple as that. You put it into, you could put it into Curve. You then get a token on Curve. You put that token into Yearn Finance, and then it creates a yield over a period of time. That yield can be pretty astronomical because you are earning that token, that Yearn Finance. However, there's only 30,000 of them. The owner, the founder, has openly stated he made it for himself. It might be buggy, use it at your own risk. That gives you an insight that it may well break at some point. It might not, who knows. But just be careful because there's 4 or 5 different copycats of this now. But it's showing you where the space is going. I like the idea that it's an aggregate of multiple different chains and multiple different assets that you can earn on the DeFi space, where you're getting a token and you are distributing the money that you are lending, which is brilliant. So you've got $1,000, it'll distribute it across all the lenders and you get the percentage of the yield back as interest. It's great idea, love it. But the fundamental flaw of this is simple. One, it was made out of a bedroom. Kind of cool, but kind of also, wow, there's $1 billion in this, by the way, just to give you an insight. $1 billion in this already. There's only 30,000 of them, but the owner actually distributed all of it, 30,000, all of it, all across the networks, etc. He didn't keep any for himself, which is really, really good. But ultimately, be careful with the copycats. That's what I want to say. Going back to that article before, the complete scam, it's not a complete scam. The problem we have, they will be scams. They will be ones that will generate all kinds of stuff. They may well keep some tokens in reserve and may lie a little bit in terms of how much they've actually got, where they're sending them to, and dump it. If you are earning passive income off the token itself, cool. But you've got to be careful you are doing it at the right levels and you are also holding, taking profit, selling, whatever. Because it's going to create demand of the tokens. There's only 30,000 of these tokens. The copycats are very, very similar. However, just be careful. Do your token metrics. Have a little look to see where them tokens are. If they are used by the users only and people are using it passively and getting a little bit every day, nice little amount, that's pretty good. However, if there's, say, look at Chainlink as an example, there's 75,000, wrong number. There's 75% of the overall token value still sitting in wallets in and around places that could harm people. That's the underlying truth of it. So in terms of that, just be careful. There's some great projects out there at the minute. There's a very, very bullish vibe at the minute, as I've mentioned in this video throughout. And stuff like this, even though it's like realistically it's early days, very, very good. If you can have an aggregate where you can just give your money to some place and it goes, phew, off it goes, boom, haha. And then it's an aggregate back of all the staking models that you're getting. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant in how it works. And obviously fully decentralized, but just be careful of the word and the feeling of a copycat. You will hurt yourself if you jump in. If you put in, can you imagine 1 billion in a copycat? Oh, boom, that will hurt. It'll hurt the entire space. So, au revoir, enjoy. Please do join the membership of the group, and yeah, some interesting stuff coming.